Looks like I'm on. Looks like I'm alive. All right. Yep, looks like I'm good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my very first ever live broadcast for War Commander game Operation Red Revelation event. Today, I'm going to put on a demonstration of how to get through the event using the units that I have to give an idea of maybe the standards that would have to be used as far as how to advance in the game and what to look forward to, and maybe give some ideas on what to even expect to try to make a goal as to what to get in the prize tab for this event as well. So that when future bases come up, if you are interested in this game War Commander, like I have been since 2012, then you'll know exactly what kind of standard to be set for you and what to go after. And today I decided that I would go ahead and take an example of my event here and go ahead and run through it from Defense 1 all the way through Main 9 on the main track, and even offer the faction track for the Corpus faction for faction tracks 1 through 3, so that we're able to go ahead and grasp the restart token and be able to replay as often as many times as we like to. So we can gain as many points as we want to, possibly even grab whatever pieces we may need to, because for the event, some of us may not be able to get past 9. Like for myself, it wasn't that easy to go ahead and go to main faction 10 and go beyond just yet. But I figure for the time that we've already lost with the event going into delay, and for the time that's already been spent, why not offer a solution at least for this faction, so that we were able to go ahead and get what prizes we need to grow the way we need to grow to. And when it comes time for player versus player or player versus event or anything of the sort that you do with this game, then you're able to even do it without possibly even spending a dime. So I even encourage you to even take note that when it comes to repairs during the session, there will be no gold used for the repairs. So how about we get this started, huh? I'll go ahead and run us into full screen here. If you ever look for me on the game, you can see me through the screen name Biggs. If you're looking for me through YouTube or through Facebook, you can always search for me through BIGGS98. I have plenty of videos there from over 6 years from Vintage War Commander on. It's been there for a very long time. Always still of use, always fun to watch, and maybe sometimes even entertaining. So, to get things started, I'd like to first go ahead and give thanks to the big guy upstairs for making things possible. There's thanks to Dark Shadows, the Shadow Killers, Anton Airlines, the entire War Commander Unshackled panel, as I am a panelist myself. It's way sad to see that the show is on pause right now, but I get it, I understand, and they did leave their explanation. You can always look them up under War Commander Unshackled on YouTube if you're ever wondering yourself. But they did say it was going to be for a short time. So for the time being, I did get the blessings. I will try to pass as much knowledge as I have, and we'll see if we can get us through this event as easy as possible. So a big thank you to the entire War Commander Unshackled panel, and a special thanks to you, to Skipjack, for an amazing birthday serenade back in September. The nicest thing somebody's ever done to me that was just random, just absolutely phenomenal. I still remember it to this day. So bless you if you're out there, if you're listening. Thank you. Now, let's go ahead and get to this. I will go ahead and start off by, instead of going and completing the 9th one now and going into my faction track, because I know I'll be doing the restarts easily. I mean, I've done this before. I already got over 700,000 spent, over $1 million. This is cake to me. So I figured I'll make it easy. I will use one restart token early right now, and we'll start from ground zero. So let's see. Let's see how easy this event may be for some of us, or may not be for some of us. Go ahead and run through the defense, just because it took me years to put this defensive structure together in so many different ways. And as you go through videos on the channel, you may even be able to see how it works too, through its evolution. Ooh, that zoom didn't work very well. Somebody from Cake's Eye, get on that, please. Let's see. Valkyrie's coming this way. So you're noting there's a judge sitting in the middle of this base. I'll hold the space bar down so I can highlight and show by hitting H key. Right there, there's a judge sitting on the base, and it's on defend. So that's all the big shots you see coming from long range that land around there. I've also have Liberators that are being spawned, Apollos being spawned, and Hades being spawned from my war factories, barracks, and my airfields. Inside the towers, most of them level 10, others level 9. There's one sharpshooter, and I think about 2 to 3 sentries. Yeah. And as I've been upgrading, I believe they're all up to at least level 10, if not 5 or greater. Now, if you feel that the defensive wave is tough for you, it's a great thing to know that KIGGS98 has also allowed that you have the option to skip the defensive wave. True, you may not get the points, but you'll still be able to partake in the event as well without having to worry about it being a prerequisite anymore. So let's go on to the first base here. Main target 1. Now, in previous events, I found that this base was easy because it was one of those demonstration type of bases. Like they would offer certain units that you could use to just defeat the base by itself, so you could see just the power rating and how it's useful and what it can do against the opponents. And I found that in this base, it's not so easy because you have to give it a little bit of thought. Because once you've tried, and I've tried it so many times, to set free the heroes, which you're about to see here in a moment, and you just let it go on Ruby, let it go on Fire at Will, whichever way it would please you. The Malcolm, the sharpshooter, oh gosh, what is that in there? I mean, anything that's here would actually just die. I'm forgetting his name. Forgive me for that. But you wouldn't even be able to get here to Andrew. So it's a good idea to, at first, if you want to give it some good movement, if you want to give it a chance, the good idea would be for you to take out the floating railed gun turrets that are here before you go into setting those heroes free to do their work. And as soon as you get rid of those railgun turrets, then you've got yourself an open option. Now, the best thing to use for this so you have a safe distance, which I will show you, would be if you have an envoy, maybe 2. But for some walls in this game, it's always good to have 3 or more, because if you only have 2, some walls don't pop and give you that splash damage that you can equip on your envoys. So we'll go after this wall here. Take out that railgun turret. Splash there should do it. Bingo. Over here to the next. After that guy cools down. All right. He's on his way back. Then we'll get rid of this one. 2 volleys should do it. There we go. Bingo. That one's out the way. Let that guy cool down. Now from here, you have a choice. I am actually going to go this way. I'm going to set these guys free now. Send home my envoys that are not at risk. All but 1 at least. Maybe 2. Because I'm going to need him to take care of this power plant. And as soon as he does, spacebar right over Andrew, Get him moving. Away goes the envoy. Fire at will. Control Andrew. Make it happen. Right through the back. Andrew back this way. Shouldn't be a big problem from there. Don't worry about him. He's not going to be too big a threat, especially after these guys get a hold of him. And you got a couple of escorts back here you can play with too. All you got to do is make it. Bam. Game on. There it is. The entire base is cleared. I don't know how many times it took for me to reset and try over again before I could figure out that one. But it made it tough. It made you have to work and think for it. 5 Apollo's easy in the pocket. Pretty good. Pretty good. Those guys are pretty good against anything that's on the ground, especially these hermits, those tanks you saw that was destroying the Phalanx hero Andrew there. Tony there seems to kind of get in the way because there wasn't much he can do as far as rating goes. Hey, he tried. Don't work to base 2 here. See what we got. This one was kind of tricky on me. Now, some would say to use an envoy, swing around, let the sentries come around and about your uncle. Not a bad idea. Others would say bulldoze through the middle. I found that if you did use an escort, not a sentry, but an escort. If you use an escort and you flew through and around this area, because this is a cave, it seems like it's a tunnel, but it's not a tunnel. You can actually fly around through here. You can bring that escort around and just get him or her to destroy the power plant or whatever necessary to clear a path, the Valkyries that may be there, then you might have a chance. But the problem with the escort going back there is if that escort has a little splash damage and it pops any of those buildings, there are crickets in there waiting for them. And it'll probably devour it in seconds. So the smartest thing to do would be, if you are going to bring an escort around, well, how about I show you? You're going to bring one around. Make sure you aim for this point here. Come on. There we go. Let's do it. Let's see. Let's do one without a schematic one. See, you're able to fly over this like it's a wall. Nothing on the ground could pass that wall, that barrier. Now, at most, if you have to worry about something, you don't want it to be the crickets. So your best bet would be line that guy up right about here. He's going to take a few hits. That's fine. I mean, he's got pretty good armor on him. And as soon as you retreat, these guys, or get these guys and gals that back here, they'll disappear. As soon as you hit retreat, he'll go back, they'll go back. Simple as that. And you just take them straight in and go for that box there, or for that power plant, whichever your desire. The power plant would cause a nice big splash. It would still free your sentries up. Let's give you a view here. Corner pocket. And retreat. Put them on fire at will. And watch the fun. All right. That worked out. It worked out well. I thought for sure those hermit tanks would just annihilate those guys, but all right. Special thanks to Joshua Skeen for that advice right there. He showed me earlier in the hangout we did in practice to maybe even try that method out instead, and boy, did it work out. There you go. Joshua Skeen, thank you for that advice. Sure as heck it worked out. Good stuff for Draken, Caretaker, and a couple of Breachers. All right. See, it gives a lot of good free units that you don't have to worry about buying in the event store, but they are available in the event store. Just getting through the first few of these bases, it's wonderful that they make it not so difficult. Let's take a look at that platoon of escorts and see just how much damage was done to them. Take a sip of water here while we wait. Like I said, by rule, I'm not going to be using any gold to do any repairs. Just the resources that are provided. And the repair is so light, it probably was about a second or so because they're already done. That's brilliant. And to understand the level of my escorts, they are actually level 11. Not fully upgraded. I've got a lot of upgrading to do myself. Just give a shout out here to the units I've got here. So 14s, 13s, 15s. Nothing's at a 20 on my base whatsoever. And it, like I said, took me years of upgrading and failing through events and fighting through events just to even get up to this point and learning how to grab a hold of a lot of these units. So when you see a lot of the videos that are out there, don't be intimidated about what they have. But again, make it a goal. Make it a true goal for you to be able to reach out and try to obtain those tools. That way you'll be able to figure these yourself. Because when it comes to the difference in videos, it's majorly just the strategy you want to look for, not so much strength. Because if you understand how these things work, once you get to that level of where they actually function for you and it works well for you, you'll know exactly how to adapt. And the rest is history. So don't be shy when it comes to not having certain event goals done or certain units. I mean, it's awesome that if you're out there and you're playing War Commander, if you're playing this event, you're part of a group. Because that group, you have members that could help you out and bonuses that can help you out as well. Which the shout out to the tag OL that has been brought in for myself and for a buddy of mine for this event to show a good example from Anton Airlines out there. Thank you, sir. for allowing us to borrow a tag for this event, for this video. The bonuses are working quite wonderfully. They have been. And it also works well when you get your bonuses when you do your shadow ops on a weekly basis. Remember that in shadow ops, the final phase is always repeatable. So it always helps to get it done as you go, one at a time. But life has its way of getting in the way, so not all of us can always do it in one shot. So if you don't have a shot and you have time to do it for the final phase, you still got a chance to at least get the unit that's up for grabs, but their damage bonuses may not be there. So being part of a group kind of helps that out too, because I mean, life happens. We can understand that. We all can. So hardly anything that's even maxed out. Anything that is Omega is not maxed out. Standard player, been playing for over almost 7 years now. Working to what I got. Working with what I got. All right, let's get to base number 3. Main target. For this one, I'm going to bring my security blanket. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on the event, but I at least want to make sure we have a means to see it is possible to walk through and get your restart token. And for the record, the bonus that I have going on for the point boost before it's purchased with gold, it's the only gold that I use for any event whatsoever. 4 days long, 10% event XP, only costs 10 gold. If you're paying US dollars, it's $1 straight. I've paid a lot more in arcades with quarters back in my younger years, beating people at Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and all that other stuff. You kidding me? You pay a lot more doing arcade time nowadays than that for an event that goes so long. So shout out to Kickstarter for allowing that kind of a boost out for those of us who want to try to take it a pinch at a time. Thank you for that. It's working beautifully. All right, on the base 3. Fairly simple, fairly simple. An escort to start things off. If you want to be daring about it. If you don't have escorts to your hand and you have envoys, even better. Your starting point will be right down here because you want to take that heavy and that heavy out of the question. So let's go ahead and fly a couple of envoys over and crack this egg open here, shall we? And with the shout out of Anton, I'm going to go ahead and throw my hero out there, my Martin out there. See, the good thing about my Martin is I actually have it attached with a zombifier. So if I go against the buildings here that produce the crickets, like with most other ops that would not produce crickets, these guys shouldn't pop up. Bam. Nice and easy. Now, if you're using regular envoys with that, you notice how that green helmet's over, well, that green skull's over that tank there. If you're using regular envoys, you will not have that effect because they do not allow that effect. It's only available for hero units, which this base is mostly dependent on. But that technology is only available around October. And last October, I picked up some pretty good ones. One for Martin here and one for Kyle. And boy, did I pick the right prize. It's just fortunate that I was able to do so. But it helps out. Now, I've tried using one where last stand defenders spawn up as something different out of the bases, and for the most part, some of them don't even work. But I know for a fact if you have a zombifier or any of the zombie tech on any of your units, you can do a great deal and save yourself a lot of trouble with that. Now, if you don't have that technology on you, something else that helps out as well, and this is where you get I'm giving another shout out to a hero here, is Polly. Because Polly has the ability to scramble, give her a little bit of help on the wing. Anything that may come within that circle, that aura of that dark storm where Polly and my Nova tank is sitting, believe me, Polly will make sure that they don't have a chance to fire You may not be able to shock this faction, but we dang sure can scramble this faction. And a Nova tank can blast them to smithereens. Look at that. Nice and clean. Using attack moves to advance forward. Anything falling within the aura of the Dark Storm, their firing ability is disabled. It's almost too easy. See? And there's a scramble against that Hermit right down here. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you have a chance to get a poly for this event, get you a poly if you don't have it already. If you can't get it for the event and you have 3 blood thorium, use that blood thorium and get you a poly. But make sure that you're able to hold 75 million thorium so that you're able to build that hero unit. Let me tell you, it's a game changer. It's a very big game changer. Let me give you a good example. I'll bring her in so that we can... Oh, well, never mind. The Nova Tank had other thoughts on that one. All right, let's see. Since you want to be a big mouse there, how about we do this? You're right over here. You can see all that there. Let's bring that Dark Storm in closer so we can bring that aura in to watch out for those operators. Yeah. Beauty of poly. Now it's just cloakable. Bam. No shot fired. You put it on defense. Look. Scrambled. Stuck. It's beautiful. If you get a chance, get a poly. If you have a Nova tank, remember, you can use this as well. No crickets will come out. Dark Storm is very powerful as well. Can actually handle his own if you allow it. You guys don't know where this, but in the near future, I want to go ahead and do a detail on how to break certain bases down so that we're surviving through events and certain PvE bases after the event. Hopefully we'll have enough viewers to go ahead and put that request into motion. I'll go ahead and pop a few more videos out there. I'm usually doing videos where I'll have the ability to edit before. You can see the videos I've done over the years. But this is the first time I've ever done it live, and I figured I'd try something new. So far, so good. 50 seconds to go. Let's go ahead and clean this up. That's that. Base 3. And don't worry about the numbers. Don't let that fool you. It's part of the bonus bases. I mean, to each his own. Some pretty good prizes there. All right. Base defense 2. Let's bring these guys back for repair. Sip of water here. Right. Short missiles are good. Well, I've got some building here to do. These guys will come in very, very handy later. Having level 16 for a Marauder and Striker, Wreckers at 14 going to 15. I'm telling you, these guys are going to come in very handy later on. It surprised me when I figured out how I could use them. Just when I thought I was stuck. These guys became my heroes. But that'll be later on today. Let's get them ready now, so don't worry about it. Because it's always important to remember, if you're going to be using mercenaries, keep them full. And if you have them upgraded enough to do instant builds, as you see me doing one at a time, once I hit finish, I wait for that save icon to go from red to gray. Because I found that when I rushed and tried to put them all in once, and I didn't wait for that icon to go gray, something disappeared right at the end. And I never got that resource back. And the same thing happened for missiles as well. When you go to produce them, click one. If it's an instant, finish it instantly. It's no cost to you. But wait for that save icon to come to a close. And you don't have to worry about anything disappearing or not being of use to you. So one of those guys, I was relying on being able to do it multiple times at a time, but I guess that's not so functional at the very moment. So if you're going to survive it, that's the way to do it. All right, looks like everybody's pretty much repaired up to speed. Nothing's wrong with my judge sitting here in the middle. Just load the rockets up on my silos. Inside of them are Achilles, as you see. Because I can go ahead and defend and grab the points, I'll go ahead and do it. But like I said, it takes a lot, and it takes a long time of upgrading because we only have one dozer to work with. It took me years of not coining and not rushing anything and not trying to make any like major purchases to even get to this point. Let's get it. See if that zoom works. A little bit better. Now, what I'm going to keep an eye on are my towers so that I can use my sharpshooters and my sentries, because anything that's sitting in the towers that's on defense, even if that tower pops, if they drop, they do not count towards the repair time of units on base. So they then become an asset to your base should you need to defend. So I can bring them back here now while these hermits are coming out, put them on defense. And when it's time, put them on fire at will so they can go ahead and do some fighting of their own. Surprise, surprise, y'all forgot somebody. Meanwhile, everybody else does their part. Remember that tactic on defensive waves. If you have anything in a tower that's very powerful, especially sentries and sharpshooters, if you can team them up and that tower happens to pop, don't just leave them out there to be shot down like meat on a stick, you know? Just grab a hold of them, pull them towards the center, give them some time to get away so that your turrets can do some firing on defense, and then you can bring them back with maybe attack moves or reposition them for fire at will when the heavier stuff comes out later on in the waves. It helps, and boy, it helps a lot. All right, on to main target 4 here. Well, let's just see the chat's live again. For the remainder of the show, you guys go ahead and have your world. If I'm donating something, I'll go ahead and shout out to you. Tune in if you can. All right, zoom in. KeyZ got a little funny with me on that one. Oh, they got to the mine factory. I've got to wait a couple of minutes. See, when it comes to repairs, the good thing about this is anything that's under 5 minutes exact actually counts as free. So I've only got to wait 3.5 minutes before I can go ahead and restock the mines that are here. So in the meantime, while we're waiting, we'll only go ahead. Let's set our commitment to the Corpus faction. Because while that's going on, we'll be making some progress. Today we're going to use my favorite squad here. It's very good to have a good team like a Dark Storm, Poly, Romero if you can get it, because it is available for this event. It doesn't even have to be an elite Romero, just a Romero. He's just handy all the way around, hands down. And a Nova tank, if you were able to get it for the Shadow Ops, that is like the go-to squad. And if you don't have the power of a Nova tank or a Romero, having a Santiago or having even a Drakens to step in with that Dark Storm and with that Poly is just phenomenal. Now, by rule, you can't have two heroes in the same platoon unless I believe that hero's at level 20, and then you're granted access with that hero. But until then, you're not allowed to have more than one hero in a platoon at a time. So having Drakens and a Poly is a good flexibility versus having Santiago and just a Cyclops, because the regular Cyclops does not have the ability to scramble. Remember that. So it's great to have a Poly. It's great to have Drakens. It's great to team them up together because of that rule. If you're able to go ahead and team up two together, Santiago and Poly are a great tag team together. Especially under the wing of a Darkstorm. Let's see here. I like this one. This one's fun. All right. In this faction track, you can only deploy units that belong to the featured faction. We have committed ourselves with the Corpus track for this video. And for this operation, the featured faction is Corpus. Deploying non-Corpus units is not allowed. Carefully considering the strengths and weaknesses of each Corpus unit is the key to victory. Let's get to it. I've carefully considered, I've had some practice in. Let's knock this base down. First things first, always deploy your Darkstorm first. Security blanket. Poly to scramble. What makes me mad about having a Nova tank at times is like the Romero, something causes him to stall so that the Nova tank doesn't fire. It's not right. It's like you'll be there, it'll have something coming straight at it for miles, even under the cloak of a Darkstorm, and Nova won't ever fire. You see Poly firing? It took that long for the Nova to react. Wow. All right. Good spot to hit is that power plant. The rest is history. That'll break everybody out of here. You can throw a Ruby on if you like. And from here, I'll select a couple of escorts here for myself. We'll free these guys up. Look at that. All gone. Just swept away. You can use the Ruby option. You can use the Fire Will option. Those escorts are going to sweep that off. No problem. Hardly takes much to get through the first part of the event. Just got to know exactly which point to pop it at. And that's where it becomes, for most beginners, just the end of the event. Because at the level that they are, you can't really get past that point without having help or without having those strong units. But no worries. I mean, with enough upgrading time and enough dedication to your units, you'll be able to do a lot more. And eventually, with a little instruction, maybe a couple of videos or so, or even live streams like this one, hey, you'll be able to break through just fine. I said it took me years, so don't be discouraged. I mean, it may not happen at first, but it will happen. It will definitely happen. You just gotta have the right coaches on your team. That's one thing I've understood. So let's wait for these guys to get over to the main target 4. Alrighty. Now, everything that's being done is being done live, raw, uncensored, just the way it is. I mean, there can be errors, there could be flash crashes. Expect anything to happen. Hoping down the line, once we get to a rate of perfection, and actually have a few guests jump on and help out as well and show you what they got. Be able to go past the base that I'm going to stop at. It's always good to have a few experts in. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see how things go. Now, this is an interesting base. For those who have it, like I said, the benefit of this event, if you like a nice thick security blanket like I got, these are your go-tos. I mean, just you got to find a way to have a Dark Storm. You got to find a way to have your Nova. You got to have. I mean, these guys are just phenomenal together. Now, what I do is I play a little perimeter ball. I won't use attack moves too much, and I'll have my fingers, my left finger, my index finger, on the D key for the shortcut to put them on defense. Because Romero likes to take things a bit far sometimes, as you saw there. Sometimes you just got to grab a hold of them and see some sense and so on. How to clear those guys out the way. Now, take a note up here at the top left. You see that grid, that hexagonal grid there? That red dot that's in the middle indicates the base that you're hitting. The yellow dot, which is in different colors, indicates the position of where your platoon is going to deploy from, because that's where you planted it on the map. It's important to know that based on what part of the map you want to hit the base from. But also keep an eye on this icon here. It's an airplane kind of looking icon. That icon represents the position from that base you're hitting, linear to your own base. That's the direction of which you'll have your missiles and your air support coming from. So if you're not sure where they're going to be deploying from, keep an eye on that corner, because it will definitely be a difference maker when you're wanting to know that information. Sometimes there are things that are preset on a base map that you could just deploy, and all of a sudden you're just being Swiss cheese to death. I mean, you have any more holes, and might be concrete in the middle of a city during a wet season. You sit there, take it even further, and you're asphalt in a city in the wet season. A lot of potholes and divots, if you don't understand what I'm saying. There we go. Nice little defensive stop. See? Romero likes to take things too far, so you got to be careful if you select him. Sometimes just having him out of the picture works out. In this case, you could take him out. You could take Polly out. So I don't think we'll need to scramble too much because everything is spaced out so well. Matter of fact, why don't we do that? We'll take Polly and Romero Send them home. Let's use the Darkstorm and Nova by themselves. You want to be very mindful of the position of the railguns as they're here. Now that we've cleared a hole on this corner because of where my air support is, it would be a great time to go ahead, while there's still time, to bring out some envoys to help. Yeah. Whatever floats your boat, however many. Here's why. Now, just to get them out the way, and also take advantage of that drone silo, yeah. Keep it moving. That building will spawn an inferno tank that can melt all kinds of things in one go. Be very wary when you pop that building. This railgun doesn't shoot anything that's in the air because it targets ground only. So that power plant would make a good candidate to help out. And based on the range, I was able to find that these turrets are, I believe, level 5. So the range is 600. Which means they could actually match the envoy. Careful of your position with your envoy to crickets that are flying near, because, like I said, with mass numbers, you get enough power to be able to pull something like this off. Aim for that wall. It's got a range of the same. It won't fire at you. That power plant, thanks for playing, buddy. And attack if you see major danger. Good to always have that platoon next to you, too, to save a little time. So when you go after that, you don't have to worry about backing them away. Because at that point, the Darkstorm, the Nova, the Poly, all of them would have shot those crickets down in an instant. Like I said, if you don't have the zombie tech on standards, which is impossible, you can only have them on the heroes. And if the hero doesn't have these zombie tech on them, those buildings will pop those crickets wide open on you, just as you saw. So now that we've popped that side there, still got our opening wide open. Let's bring out our envoys one more time. This time, let's bring the hero in with them. Hey, I said move it. See, that's the last thing I wanted to do was pop that building. I didn't even ask for it to even fire there. It's not fair. But like I said, it's live. It happens. As we're sitting here playing the game on our own, it happens. And trust me, it's annoying. It happens to the best of us and the worst of us. There are those guys. You gotta be careful with zombie fires too, because when those things convert units or buildings out for zombies, when there's live drone silos, they'll activate the drone silo as well. So please be cautious when using your zombie fire. Know exactly when to use it. Let's go this way with attack moves. And when you hit attack moves, the A key, and you have your unit selected, that aura that you see there represents the range. The outer ring represents the starting range from when it will begin to fire. For the envoys, it'll have an ending range, which means that nice open unit in the center, that nice donut hole, it won't be able to fire if anything enters that range. So please be mindful of how you use these, or it could mean trouble, a lot of trouble. Now, like I said, you can use Martin by himself, and it can take out these buildings without spawning crickets. Especially since he's got a zombifier attached to him in a workshop. Benefits. When Kickstarter has a chance to, and they release that technology, if they release that technology, please release that technology. Let the others get a chance at it too. And I'm pretty sure they've grown pretty good. If you're gonna wait till October, still, I say again, give them a shot. Let them play, coach. Let them play. Let's take that drone silo out. Surprise! Ooh, looks like we got a little bit of help. An indirect ally. See, with that Inferno moving in a position he did, that leaves us the option to use them for target practice. Bam. Can have that. Go away. That's fine. Tell me, those envoys are a godsend. I love it. If you're not too sure what your next move is going to be, it's good to put them on defense so they don't run away and go aggro on you. And by aggro, I mean like aggressive towards something. All right, let's get out the way of that cricket before it decides to take us for lunch. And I'm not talking the nice way either. Now, if you noticed with the envoys, when we're flying close to this missile silo, the hatch does not open up. When that happens, when you see the hatch stays closed, it's great, great news. That means that there's a missile in there that will not be hostile to what you're using. So before you dive into a base hardcore or heavy, if you see a few missile silos sitting out there, take a look at it. See if that hatch is wide open. And if it is, think which of my units that I have that might be able to trigger that thing to fire a missile at me. Because chances are, if it does fire at you, it's not going to be good news. All right, Martin, your turn. This time, I'm not going to use this guy for an ally. I'm going to get rid of it. Get rid of that one. Very good, very good. And you know, just to get past this. Oh yeah, Romero did that. It's a kill all buildings base. So if you're ever short on time, keep your eye on all the buildings and not all the units that are floating around. You'll get past it with no time for that. Armor for envoy, strings, more envoy. Okay. Good. And see, nice options for prizes for those who are able to pass that base. It's a good way to stock up when you need to work on your workshop elements. Let's take a look and see if we got any damages to worry about. Nope, 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 and maybe. Well, we've got our eyes on that main target 5. We'll head on back over here to camp. We seem to be doing pretty good with being able to do the defensive waves and grab the resources of Thorium that way. So I don't have to go on any runs. And it's always a good benefit when you can play at this kind of a pace. But getting there is the hard part. And resources like videos, feeds like these are good to have, including knowledgeable players who are or may not even be on your team. Just passing the wisdom alone is what this is all about. Doesn't matter what team you're from. It doesn't matter where you come from in the world. Did you get, it doesn't matter who the messenger is. Did you get the message? That's the main thing you're going to worry about with this kind of ordeal. And if you did get that message and you're not worried about who the messenger is, and oftentimes you can find yourself learning a lot faster than most. All right, we still got those mines, but then we've got 3 to replenish. Not bad. Always keep your eye on those mines for your defensive waves. They do come in handy, and I keep them spread nice. I mean, when they do come in for the defensive waves, it's always good to have them spread out like that. All right, all healed and ready to go. Base the main target 5. Let's bring our favorite team out here. So if anything else, don't let the units that I have be an intimidation factor to you. Let it be the goal you set to increase your game, to bring your game up. And if anything else, once you get those tools, you could become so much bigger and badder a gamer than I've ever been. Now, it may seem at first that this is one of those bases that you've got to worry about the buildings. But if you look closely, right here, it says kill all units base. That means the drone silos, the radio towers, the resource vaults, the turrets, the bunkers, power plants, all that stuff in this case does not matter. Oddly, there's been that rule with the bunkers because there's units inside of them, but they're still inside of a building. So for this one, only thing you have to worry about are you got your Vipers here, you got your tanks here, you got Tempests here, anything that can move and possibly even come back at you. The hostiles only. And in some cases, there's even a weakness you might be able to expose. Let's shut this down. Like I said, having a Dark Storm is wonderful. Having a poly with that Dark Storm, even more so. If you didn't get the Nova tank, but you got a Romero, and you can put all 3 of them together, well, let's do this one pre-Nova. Show you what can happen. And like I said, in the place of Romero, if you don't have them, Drakens and sharpshooters in a team make a very good combination. So do sentries. I mean, just because they're in a different faction doesn't mean they can't work together, especially in the demonstrative case of Romero here with Poly and with our Darkstorm, Corpus and Survivors together. Just got to get creative about how to use them and when. Let's move in a little closer, put them on defense. If we select Poly, we can shoot the tank in the back, have him on scramble before he even shows up for fire duty. Reselect everybody we need to, move on forward. Control of your units is very key in this game. I often found that the most mistakes that people have ever had to encounter were from units going aggro or out of control all too soon. Ooh, took that whole squad out. All right. Now, because they are the heavier armored tanks, the hermits that are here are your biggest threat in this case. So you want to aim to the left of your squad. Clear out any debris there. Again, use poly if you have to prioritize who gets to scramble. That way nobody gets hurt. And you should walk out of there in one piece. Come on in. Having an angled wide lens combination for poly, the hero tech that's available for it, is key to being able to take out multiple crickets. Those tiny helicopters that I'm referring to are called crickets, by the way. Because like I said, you can't shock them, but you can scramble them. Work our way around here. Always hit defend to stop everybody in their position. A chance to regroup. Oh, I love that. Ooh, took it out to sea. We're going to leave this turret alone here. It's not going to get shot down. Just like I said, to prove a point, this is a kill all units base. So turrets and buildings of its sort do not matter as far as the defeat stipulation in this case. Nice and slow, nice and easy. Have the defend on standby because, like I said, Romero likes to take things too far sometimes. If you're not careful, you'll run out there and just be a magnet for damage. It's lousy, but that's his trait. It's good to understand the game for his trait as to how it's going to react at the moment versus how you expect it to always act, because it doesn't always work that way. You don't always get what you expect. So in the case of games like this, especially ones run on Flash, you have to kind of be ready for anything. Now, before everything disappears on me, I want to actually try to grab some more of these resources too. Well, too late for that. And just to give you an idea here, but still have radio towers sitting right there. We still have oil and barracks sitting there. Using my arrow keys to scroll around here. Like I said, I wasn't going to shoot that. So down over there at the top. Poor soul, he got in the way. Down he went. There's that. Kill all units base only. So don't stress too much about what's sitting down below or those guys are on the top. I mean, if you can take it from the ground that way with the Dark Storm, bring in your Drakens nice and slow. Bring in a poly with you to help you with the scramble tech and just take them out one by one. To get your own. If you even have them, a few Vindicators in with a Dark Storm and a couple of Drakens is a very good combination. The power rating of a Vindicator is very, very helpful. And if they have the right tech on them, they can extend their range from 550 to 575. So keep that in mind for usefulness as well. That's where that Hero Sunder comes in well, too. So it looks like this is going to be a predominantly hero-based event. Being able to squeeze all the way up through this to get to the restarts. Yeah. That would be the goal to have. Anybody hurt? Just Romero. Just to preview this base so that I can see what I'm going to need. Maybe I may not need the Romero for this one. Let's bring this buggy over while he goes in for the repair. Now, repairs don't start until we go into our own base. Keep that in mind. So, if you're going to go in for repairs, yeah, I really don't need a Romero for this one. If you're going to go in for repairs, make sure you time them perfectly. We'll go ahead and heal them anyway. So like I said, not using any gold. And the best part about that is, if you manage your time just right, and you manage the hit power versus life bar of your units that you have, you can actually time it so that everything stays underneath the radar and free. It's already done. Hardly any damage on those. So far, we've gone through main track 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've gone through faction track 1 for the Corpus track. And no loss in time, no loss in units. This is the kind of pace you would love to have be able to play this kind of game. Believe me, like I said, it took forever to get there. Matter of fact, what I was thinking about, that buggy was out for a reason. Because for the next 3, you're not going to be needing to use any ground units if you're going main track. Since I already know that 7's going to be the next, we'll bring the buggy out and park them right there. It'll be our placeholder. Now, at first sight, this base may seem like it's heavy because of what you see here at the top, because the entry point is going to be up here. You've got heavy hunter missile, heavy overwatch, heavy railgun, heavy flak all lined up here with jackals and crickets and hermits all lined up alongside each other waiting for the first blow. I'm pleased to announce that when you start this base off, sure, they may hand you some guys to work with, but in its current condition, if you were to bring those guys up to this base, they wouldn't last long. Because not only do you have to worry about all of these, and not only do you have a bastion here blocking the missiles from being able to be fired, you also have to worry about a bastion here. And you have to worry about these 3 runways. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 runways that spawn sparrows. Yes, sparrows. And they were introduced the last event. Let me tell you, if you do not know how to handle sparrows, they're a nightmare. And as many as come out that can come out of town, I think they even come out in pairs per runway. So there's like 6 of them. As soon as they attack, if you don't have the right equipment in hand, you're as good as gone. Maybe in the near future, I can show you a nice little trick using sentries on how to get past sparrows. But that was if you could actually time out their flight pattern towards you. All right, let's bring you 2 over this way, away from that action for now. And with these 2 alone, I'm going to crack up this very slowly. See, Nova can do a good job if it actually does its job well. The key here is move fast. If you have Darkstorm, if you have Nova, move fast. If your Darkstorm has the technology to be able to move fast, even better. Oh, no, you don't. I asked for the Darkstorm only. You stay. Yeah, because I do not want that guy fired. You're going to fire. No, stay. Come on. Thank you. Okay. Am I staying in this position? Work advantage. Come on, fire Nova. Thank you. See, down here, there aren't that many, if any, threats to the ground tanks. It's pretty much anti-air all down here. But the race that you're having to compete with is the race against time to get to those airfields. So you got to make a beeline immediately. Oh, no, you don't. One down. Two down. While the Dark Storm works the locals. Oh, now it wants to rapid fire. Kickside, you gotta really do something about that. That is just nuts. There, third one down. Now we don't have to worry about those sparrows coming out. She's not even firing. That Nova tank was not even firing. Excuse me. You don't want the Darkstorm getting ahead of you for this building. That's a direct shot straight for those crickets to come right at you. Bring them in close to that tower so that they stop firing. Clear that tower if you need to. No more hermits. No more Valkyries. Missiles enabled. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, you can take out your peacekeepers and blast this place to bits if you want to. It's optional. I've still got 2.5 minutes to go. I'm gonna have some fun. Oh, you would instigate. Get to it. Like I said, control is everything with this game. If you do not control them, they will go rogue on you. Come on. Fire Nova? Come on. Nova didn't even fire once. That's just ridiculous. There's a minute left on the clock. Smart money would be to leave it all on. And the reason why is so you can free those guys that are in those pins there and let them go to work. It's a big time for them to be able to come on out from this direction and be able to swing over here. and take them on head on if they like. As soon as you get to the area where the crickets and hermits are, those guys are as good as gone. So be very smart about when you set free the ready-to-use units. Very smart. Again, these guys, I believe, are level 5. So their range is about 600. So by my calculations, if I'm correct, envoy that I deploy in a mass group will not be fired upon if I select that wall. But first, let's pull them backwards into a position where they're linear. Second volley, bam. Sure, that's going to hurt, but it's better than what that Hunter Russell could have done. In fact, how's that for a brilliant shot? There. And to be safe, avoid that tower. Aim for that wall. Away they go. Thank you for your service. Dismissed. We'll see you back at the infirmary. Dark Storm is in position. So it's always good to take it nice and easy, nice and slow. And the good news is, if you choose not to bring any of these guys in because they are considered uniques, my guess is there's a GS sitting in there because that hatch is wide open. You can put them on defense. That tower is not going to fire at them. And if any of these guys come at you, they're going to get blown away by those guys. You could bring back an envoy or two. So one of the key things to remember about the GS is if it's a hero unit, most likely you're not going to have to worry about the GS firing at you. Take that guy out nice and smooth. Fly over this way. I wish I would get rid of this message. It really obstructs the view of what we need to do next. We know. Yep, no firing of the GS. Look at that. Just like that. That's all gone. That's all gone. And by rule, this is a kill all buildings base. So we really don't have to worry about these guys at all. Any of them. You get away with getting past this if you just came right over here. Just like this with the envoys. Don't worry, that storm turret don't hurt so much. Those guys know what to do from there. So you don't even Need to use these guys. Just get right past that. Torque rotors, underbelly armor, faction mission unlocked 2, lift rotors. Good stuff, good stuff. So far, so good. Gone all the way through 6. Let's go after our second faction. Sure nobody else is there tied up. That will do it. We send them there. First, I'm going to send them back to base. We'll leave that there for now. Back in base. Any necessary repairs in between would keep your time short. Ooh, look at that. 7 minutes, 34 seconds. Now, in every case that there's a repair like this, it doesn't always mean that everybody's got to go down for 7 minutes. Because it could also mean that there's a difference between a couple of basic units or whatever units you were using, where the time added up to that. So, like in this case, the Darkstorm only took 2 minutes 47 seconds. I could heal him myself, and he's good as done. If I want to replace everybody in the places I put them, I can put the Nova back here. I can put Polly back here. And it doesn't really matter which place, as long as they're available to you, you can still use them. And I can put Romero back here. And look, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. Under 5 minutes, repairs are done. We are ready for the next round after 10 seconds here, free of charge. 10 seconds here, free of charge. See, Envoys did a very good job there. Like I said, that storm turret doesn't really hurt too much. So you don't have to worry about it with Envoys. They have a very high armor rating. As a matter of fact, I have a peek here at the Envoys. Did I pass them? Yeah, I think I did. Here. Mines are at level 10 and 10 only. I've got more to upgrading and tokens to grab, but hey, as far as their health goes, they're at 5,075,000 and our range is at 600. The beauty is, with those heavy turrets being at level 5, I learned that they are also at range 600. So if you're aiming for a wall in front of a total range 600 turret, if that wall creates splash damage with the unit that's firing that missile or whatever volley there is, could be a Juggernaut, could be a Vindicator, could be the Envoys, with the splash damage that it has, if the splash is strong enough, it will actually destroy the turret sitting right behind it. So that's why Hunter's turret didn't take off and start firing at my Envoys. He walked away scot-free. All right, back to check in. Not a missile used still. Not one mercenary used either. We are doing pretty good. Now we've got a choice. We can go with the defensive, or we can go with the faction. Now, in this case, because of the time factor and repair factor, the good money would be do the defensive first if you can do it. And the reason why is because after the defensive is done, whatever damage you may have gained from doing that defensive wave can be healed as you're doing the faction track that's next. So here we are on our third defensive, and this is the last defensive I'm going to be doing for this session. Because it gets pretty tough after this, and like I said, I don't like to, after getting the restart token, I don't like to waste too much time sitting back waiting for more things to come, or for more damage to come towards me. So, we'll get what's necessary, head to the restart, and call it. So again, my key here is watch what's inside my towers. We've got 5 to go from. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See, those sparrows hurt. Ooh. So it's good to have. Ooh. Them on defense. Another wave of heavy, another wave of crickets. More hermits. Fire at will. Let them all go. Still out there. Yeah, you're done, Junior. All right. We took a beating, but they didn't get to the command center. So by roll, we win. Yeah, that saves me on going on any Thorium runs, but just for the sake of example, let's still do it anyway. Maybe towards the end of it all. Who knows? We'll see how many missiles I might need to demolish the rest of these guys. So while all this is being repaired, we can save ourselves some time by letting them go ahead and do what they do. And heading back over here. We got main target 7 we can go to, which I already got a buggy sitting waiting for. Like I said, I want to do the faction next. This way, if there are any repairs to be done, then they can sit tight while I'm working on 7, 8, and 9, which do not require ground units to fight. Because as you can see here, 7, with that blue over there, it's over water, no ground units available. 8, that blue ring around it, again, no ground units available. And 9, also, no ground units available. So we won't be needing anything that's going to fight from the ground. Unless you're smart as I am. Because like I said, there was going to come a time where I was going to use those mercenaries. And I'm telling you, it blew my mind the same way it might even blow yours. Just when you think they're not going to be of any use, they become heroes again. Oh yes. This one you got to take slowly. See, for the Corpus faction, having a Nova, it's a blessing. Having a Darkstorm, even bigger. Having Poly and combining the 3, mercy me. And in some cases, if you have them, having escorts is a godsend. Because they can take a beating too. But you gotta know how to use them. Not all situations are escort friendly. But in the back here, we've got 4 for our use too. So what's that? Those guys free later? For now, our Nova's got some pretty good impact on them. They can handle some armor. Let's do Nova, Darkstorm, and Poly. And again, for whatever units you don't have that I am using, if you have the means to do so and you have good teammates to help you through it, sure to make these units your goal so that you're able to do these things with ease the next time around or in your near future. Because I'm telling you, It is God so much helpful. Darkstorm can take some heat from those avalanches. Oh, come on, Nova Fire. Thank you. That was not right. And if any of you are out there who have a Nova tank can follow, you know and understand my pain. There is no way it should take that long for a Nova tank to respond when it's being directly fired at. If anything, with units being attentive to detail, when the update was made, we were told that they would go aggro as soon as they got hit. So if they go aggro as soon as they get hit, why is there such a delay on a Nova tank? Something to address with Kickside. So you should be firing a lot faster than that based on what we've been able to see so far. A lot faster than that. Gotta be careful with that Nova tank too, because his turn radius is so wide, it'll act like a Romero and go into suicide mode at times. So you gotta be careful, gotta be mindful of its surroundings. Why no one fired at that is beyond me, but okay. That's fine. Oh, that's right. You again. Fence. Make sure that if you're going to ride the walls like this, be careful not to get shot by that railgun. Oh, if you get shot by the railgun, it's trouble. It's bad, bad trouble. And when you're moving away from the action, it's good to move your mouse behind where your units are their noses are pointed. If you move anywhere out here, they're going to literally drive out towards it. And keep your eye on this Nova, because like I said, it's got a wide turn radius. See, that's wide. That's very wide. There. Now fire. Fire. Fire anytime, sweetheart. Come on. Thank you. My goodness. Oh, no, you don't. Just you. Like I said, just you. Half the base is cleared out the way. Not a good idea to try to drive backwards. Best to end attack. Reposition yourself at the beginning of the base. Cut your losses down. And with that many hits being taken with that many units, it's good to either set this on favorites, head to your repair point, and check and see where your units are. Because again, the rule is no gold used for repairs. Or you can go ahead and press on. Say like you're pressed for time and you've got an overnight repair you can do. You can just, I'm going to sleep. They'll be ready to go by morning. Set them on repair, go on to sleep. You're doing whatever you do throughout the day. You go to work. Whenever your next time you log on, if it is a few hours away, hey, you got a meal in, you got work done, you took a bath and all that other fun stuff. And by the time you log back in the game, your stuff is ready to go and repaired and never lost any time whatsoever. There have been cases, though, you have to be careful where somebody has set up a repair and it didn't take while they had it set for them to do so while they were handling life situations. If that ever happens, be sure to let Kickside know. It's not right. Once you hit repair and it repairs going like so, then it should be completed by the time you get back. especially if it's something short like 19 minutes. Let's see who got hit the hardest. I know that Darkstorm took some hits. How bad did Nova take you? $15. So the heaviest hit was the Nova for 15. Okay, no problem. So, as I was saying with the game, when you have long-term repairs like that, that's fine. You can always leave them there to be of use to you, and you can repair them later on. He'll be fine after a while. While we're doing 7, 8, and 9, that Nova tank will be repairing, so we can continue on and get this done. That is the beauty of time management, ladies and gentlemen. So, back to where we were. This is why it's good to save your favorites too. Back over here we'll go. 40 seconds, we'll have our platoon back over there ready to go ahead and try our next strike in. At this point, if we've reached all bastions, missiles can be fired. But be very extra careful with selecting where to fire your missiles, because if you fire it and it pops at one of those buildings that lets loose those crickets, I'm telling you, there's going to be trouble if you're not prepared for it. It is lousy. You lose a lot of repair time, and it can be frustrating. And that's the last thing you want to do for yourself, is frustrate yourself when you're trying to get through an event. As calm, as cool as you can be, as easy as it can be to you, is as good as you want it to be. Last thing you want to do is have a stressor try to distract you from being able to do what you do best, or to even not at your best, even if it's your worst and you're just getting through it, to achieve that goal. All right, so what we got left? We got a bastion back here. We got hermits up front. Only a hunter missile up there with it. We could probably pop those escorts loose and let them run free. But again, timing and where to use them. You can't really put them on Ruby because you got that building. That'll be trouble. That'll be big trouble. But if you do pop them at this time, focus on your most dangerous and most direct targets. Since they're floating ground turrets, the anti-air turrets and anti-air units will be the ones to threaten them. So be mindful of that. Then we've got a clear path here from the crickets. I say, in the middle of hand, I'm going to take one Fury. Just one. I'm going to fly over here. And the first thing I want to do is pop him. Bring this guy back. I'm going to make it easy for the others that I'll be setting free by taking out these power plants first. The reason why we want to take them out first with this guy is because you want those power plants to be knocked down just enough. You want this base to be flat just enough where they go into low power mode. And when they do, those turrets will be firing at half speed, half power. Which means the escorts that you set free will last a lot longer. Now that we've got that debris out the way, let's live a little dangerous. Let's go here, here, and here. And all of you heavy turrets first. Now that those heavy turrets are out of the way, it only leaves all those guys here. The only ones left standing that's heavy would be these guys, the Blitz and the Railgun. Smart money at this point, if you have it, and you're running Sentinels faction, just to throw it out there, a Herald would wipe all of this out in one go. Smart money. An Envoy could even fly over, drop that, and you can take it from the ground if you wanted to. But we're not running Sentinels faction. We're running Corpus. So the smartest thing to do at this point, end attack, let those crickets fall wherever they fall. When we go back into that base, those crickets will not exist. By rule, the building that they spawned from is destroyed. Thus, they were destroyed. You can even have a lot more fun from this point on. The only major threat you have for anything that's in the air here would be those commandos that's strutting here. The guys in the red with the cannons. Yeah, they fire at the ground too. So be very cautious of that. So you got two choices. You can either take it from the air only, take your hits and move on, or you can take it from the ground primarily and then use something from the air to take these guys out, which is what I'm going to do. So, my pretties, 5 Furies, 4 with ground drones, 1 with an anti-air drone. Here's the kicker. I'm going to target that guy back here first, so the drones go after him that way. Fires the Blitz that way. Bam. Blitz is gone. And that's the easier way to get rid of those guys from the air. Thank you. You're excused. Now, you can use your peacekeepers at this point and take every building out. Like I said, I'm going to have a little fun. And to start, cut a hole this way. And the reason why you want to cut a hole this way is so that you don't waste your time trying to get your way right through to get after these guys. Because as they're coming at you closer and closer, you may be firing at them, but those walls will become an obstruction that will prevent you from being able to release any kind of attack or defense whatsoever. In other words, walls getting away, you die. Slowly, you can make one flinch, come on in, put them on defense. It'd be that easy. Each one that fires off will set off the next cadence. I said, if you want to control poly so you know which ones will be scrambled so they can be destroyed, and you don't have to worry about those hermits taking you out so quickly. Nice and slow with the attack moves. The nose of the dark storm is a good measurement point. Sometimes being hasty can be deadly to you. It helps to have patience. So at this point, there's nothing else that can be of any threat to anything in the air. So even if I were to just park these guys here, for example, release control of them, I just come over here, have some fun with this guy. This, my friends, is called a blackout. An elite blackout. They love to fly by and take out walls without notice. So whenever you're releasing a blackout onto a base and you need to use the walls to defeat it, keep in mind that it may not be the best first option, because no matter what you do, even if you're just flying past, those drones are going to try to take out as much as they can. I mean, look at that. A nice big hole. There. Come on. Well, I could swear I have all buildings. What else is left? Ah, you're left. That's what's left. Okay. I thought I had all buildings. I didn't see the helipad in the center. Faction track 2 done. Time for some training tokens. Sphinx, 3 of them. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So the next faction track that we do for the Corpus will give us the restart token, and that'll be the end of this transmission. Aside from the resource and Thorium run that I'll do to voluntarily show that it can be gained at any level, high or low. Let's see what kind of damages we got here. And this is the segment of the game in this event where I found that if you got to take the bases down, you got to know how to use it from the air. So missiles, mercenaries, and some very strong units and ingenuity is going to be the key here. Bring these guys in for repairs. Like I said, by the time I get done with this and we're ready to hit the third faction wave, the Nova tank should be fully healed, and that platoon in its entirety, as a matter of fact, should be fully healed. And if anything else, so will this base. Because even if you have no defenders, like I have my judge sitting here, without defenders, the base at most will be an hour and 15 minutes repair. And that counts the guys that are sitting inside your bunkers and towers, because they actually fit within that cycle of that hour rule, being inside those bunkers and towers. But if they were outside, like my judges for this event, well, let's just say you'll get the actual repair time for those. So if you're not looking to lose them, and if you've done everything you need to do for your defensives, or if you're not looking to take any major repair for having units on your base, and you're not a heavy corner and you want to save your money, even a little frugal with yours, then it's best to just take them off the base. I mean, if somebody's going to fight your base, then you might as well just let them do what they do. In an hour, you'll be fine. But whatever you destroy, they're just going to eat it. And if they're big corners, what big deal? They go in it. They're repaired instantly, go on to the next. It helps to know that when you're doing PvP events, if you choose to be a player versus player type of person. All right, let's see here. We've got 3 different pools of heavy turrets sitting here, all being guarded by airships. Those airships being sandstorms to the left and right, or in this case, the northwest and southeast corners. And dead center, for those who aren't familiar with that unit, old school as it is, at level 1, it was very useful for resource gains before the changes and updates that have recently come about in the past month. Those, my friends, are called chimeras. And if you have one and you're able to go after a resource base 2, pop a chimera on fire at will. Watch the fun. It fights just like a bone saw does. It won't hit the base linear because of its guns. And it's really good for clearing those turrets out. Just a heads up. Just a heads up play for those who even have them, whoever earned them. Old school players, new school players. Now for this base, you don't have to worry about there being any bastions, which is wonderful. Peacekeepers go a long way. Right about there, I want to say. North and east. That's there. Yep. It's tedious, but it's effective. Cooldown time, a minute in between each. No problems, no worries. Wait it out. It's always good to pack enough missiles to be able to do the job. Sip some water in between. Smoke them if you got them. If you're old enough to do so, be legal. Don't fool around. Practically wait out the whole minute and so before the next shot is fired off. By the time you get through volleying this entire base with the Peacekeeper missiles, one of the most important things to know is that even after you've volleyed off all of the heavy turrets in this base, which is what I'm going to do here, you still have 7 piles of crickets here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 sitting here waiting to demolish anything that flies through. The Peacekeepers are going to take care of those chimeras at the same time, so you don't have to worry about them as much. But when you get to those crickets, if you don't have a powerful enough unit, like, for example, a Herald, even a standard Herald that has the anti-air guns attached to it, then this base is going to be extremely difficult. You're going to take a lot of damage. So one or two things that I would suggest: either A, take your hits with a unit that you can put into repair that would not cost you so much time lost in the event, in a separate platoon you may not have to worry about, and you take all your important stuff out of that platoon so that those guys heal. Something like the Sphinx. You can fly a whole team of them through at a good level and wipe out all of those crickets, but you're going to take your damages. Or if you're in a team, or if you're having teammates or friends who play the game and they're in the same sector, a good idea would be call up that friend or message that friend. I can use the Peacekeepers and knock out all that I can with this. I need you to come through and take out 6 piles if you can, of those crickets. I'll take the last pile and make it easier on you for your defense. And if they have that Herald and it has the anti-air technology, it's no damage to them. So unless you're in bad standings with your teammates, you should be able to get through pretty good. If you're coming into the game brand new, well, it's one of those moments where you have to just wait it out until you get the right technology for it, if Kickstarter releases it to you. All right, time for the next one. Let's see, right about there. So good to point out and know also that these crickets are not targetable towards the missiles. Neither are the air turrets, the anti-air turrets that are here, or the sandstorms that are here. So it's a beautiful sight to see them fly through scot-free. I love it. And see, just to give an example of what I'm talking about with that Herald, while I'm waiting for the next one to come through, we'll be a little proactive here. I'm going to bring out my Herald that has it. Mine's an Elite. Nothing Omega about it. I haven't taken the time out to go after those bases because I was grabbing everything else and helping people out in between while I was doing mine. So, I mean, like I said, even a standard Herald with that anti-air technology by itself at any level can do this without being scratched. As long as you're taking out the hostiles that are those heavy turrets. So keep that friend in mind if there is one. If anything else, if you have the ability to get Thorium resources to help them through that, scratch their back, get them their resources, help them out. You'll be thankful that they helped you get through this base because those points are very, very important depending on how high a goal you set for yourself. I'll admit it's like watching paint dry with that Herald flying through. But when it gets where it gotta go, it's worth it. Let's drop another Peacekeeper right here in the center. I'm going to start with these guys here. Watch that Herald. Anti-air technology. Gotta love it. Time's gonna run out for this first pass. That's fine. Always good to take what you can while you can get it. This also give us time to go back to base and restock those missiles that we're missing. All right. End attack. Leaves us with 6 piles plus the guys down here at the bottom. Go back in the base. Time management. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the key. Time management. Even if you don't get through it the first time around, that's fine. But you still make progress towards your next mission. Again. Build, let it finish. Red icon goes gray. Next one, finish. Icon goes gray, it's done. Next one, finish, 1 to 3. Now, if you have gold and you have it stashed, you notice I'm at 0. It's a guarantee if it says free, it's free. But be careful because sometimes you'll be playing a game for a while, have gold, and it says it's free, but the clocking of the game can delay itself. And little by little, one by one, your gold could be getting chipped away at, and you would not know it. And all mines are still good. All right. Next missile. Peacekeeper. Right in between the eyes. And there goes the Chimeras. And ironically, when they do take their last gasp of air, they fire several volleys, as you see those 5 spots for each one, towards the enemy. So the point of impact for them was literally towards that direction. Sounds like they were spitting at their enemy as they're dying. So don't worry, it's not always going to hit you, especially if you're attacking them from the air. It's just a little perk that they had for anything that was on the ground that might shoot them down. Against special forces and against riflemen, they were a nuisance. But with what we have available to us now, yeah, not so much a nuisance anymore. And that does those guys. While he's over here doing that, Peacekeeper. And let's hope it's knocking out the rest of the damages needed to be done here. This should do it. That is one strong flak turret. That is one very strong flak turret. Now, just because I know this for a fact, flak turret doesn't really take too much time and damage on the Herald, especially one at level 5 like that one. So you could actually go ahead and give it the business and fly straight towards it if you have the anti-air technology. Could muscle through it that way. Or you can just wait 38 seconds, 37 seconds, and fire one more Peacekeeper right dead center and walk away without a scratch, like I'm going to do right now. Choice is up to you. Either way, the mission is done. We've already got 1 pile, 2 piles of crickets down, leaving the rest of the 5 remaining protected by that flak turret. Always good to stock up on your resources, on your thorium, so you have these ready and available to you. It's also a fun fact to know, bullseye missiles can also target anti-air. So if you have a bullseye that can actually drop a little bit of power against it, and you can afford to go ahead and build one at max level, might even clean it up quicker without the downtime of waiting for cooldown. See, and at this point, once those are all gone, like I said, if you don't have that kind of power or that kind of benefit with the Herald, you got a buddy who has one, make it easy on them. Don't let them kill themselves for it. Be glad to help you sweep through these without taking any damage from them. And that, my friends, is why I decided not to go ahead and bulldoze through that flak turret, so I could show, as I had been hopefully so far, that it's not too much to just wait it out and let the Herald go ahead and take these guys on. And what I do is I use attack moves and aim towards the middle. So wherever their flight pattern may be, whoever's closest, that Herald will know what to do. At this point, even if you wanted to go autopilot, you could even leave it on fire at will, and it would be able to take them all out by itself. In some cases, the game may not be so cooperative where you have fire at will going. Look at this. Spinning the Herald in circles. And that's the trouble sometimes. Now, if you ever run into this problem, just bring your Herald over to one different position, hit attack moves one more time. It should line them up again. Defend. Once you put them on defend, they'll stay still and they'll fly right into that pattern. They're in a dedicated flight pattern. That's how you get past that. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there wasting your time going in circles. And in events, time is everything, especially when you've got so much to go and you got life ahead of you as well. Life happens, like I said. And sometimes that hero doesn't always let those bombs go, speed things up. So that's how you handle that. When they're in a linear pattern like those two crickets were a few moments ago, move over right into that path, hit defend, and watch what happens. Well, you've seen it. Come on. Come on down. You're gonna make me wait and go after it another round. Practically got this whole thing done. I've got to come in another. Shh. Oh, down to the wire with 3 seconds left. Whew. I love it. That was a close call. You got to be careful when you're that close to the clock. You have to make a decision. Either I'm going to finish the base and take the risk, or I'm not going to finish the base, reset the clock, come back and complete it that way. Because it has happened to several of us players. Remember this. When that timer hits 0 and you got down to the last unit, it may still say defeated even after you've gotten the last guy down. But because it was shot after the clock, it didn't count. The base disappears. You don't get credit for it. Be careful with that. So clock management is everything as well. There's a lot of key factors in surviving events in this game, and events that have to take place in this game that are not events. And one thing's for sure, your enemy, your biggest enemy, is the clock. Now here we are back at base 8, which I had finished before I reused that restart token before we started the session. Again, no ground units were harmed in all this. Now comes the fun part. Loaders. Loaders. All right. Still sitting at 30 thorium for 10 resources. I'm in pretty good shape. Everything in the air is present for duty. All right. Now, it's important to know that you're going to want, if you have maximum elite strikers, to fill your vaults up with the mercenary camps. Because this, my friend, is going to be where the surprise comes in. So before I get that surprise started, we're going to take a short break. Somebody's got to use the loo. I'll be back in a couple moments. Smoke them if you got them. Microphone will be muted. Be back in a moment, y'all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bathroom break is now done and complete. Thank you for your patience. Like I said, this is a live broadcast, the first of my kind. I've been drinking water the entire time I've been doing this. Obviously, things are going to happen, but it's all good. I mean, you can't really edit anything live. So, hey, let's get to replenishing our missiles, because I'm pretty sure we're going to need to use these guys. So far, so good. Mercenaries ready to go. Again, thank you guys for viewing so far, and if you're still out there with me, appreciate you a whole lot. I hope to be able to do a lot more with this channel, with this video, with more videos to come, possibly some giveaways. We'll see how things go. Who knows what to say is to happen in the near future, except for how far we choose to carry it on with this. But I do plan on bringing a lot of useful information to you so that you're able to get through these bases and get through this game without having to destroy yourselves the same. That's one of the things I loved about being part of the War Commander Unshackled team, is that not only was it just I, but many others of us who have channels, like City 3382. And you got Anton out there, you got Dark Shadows, you got Shadow Killer out there, you got, I mean, the One, the list goes on and on. I mean, Skipjack, they're all out there and have literally for years offered their information just as I have over the years. I mean, practically at one point I was even buried by these guys because I've had the channel on for years, but never really had the motivation to do anything about it until now. So today I figured I'd treat us by doing something live and doing something different. But the information is there. It's good to use it. And anytime that I'm on the panel with them, or if I'm on by myself, when the information has been given out, like I said, if you get the message, our job is complete. We've done our job. And if it is very helpful to you, like and subscribe. Hit the buttons, Tell us thank you. If you need help and we're in the same sector, ask. I have no problem asking. It's just a game. You don't have to bring any politics into it. It's just simply meeting a goal. It's nothing a barter system, even in this game, could not help you with, One person may be good at Thorium, another may be good at resources, another may be good at shadow ops. Find what you're good at and let it be a skill that you can help that other person who may not be good at it, and you guys can help each other advance. You never know. You might meet a friend in the process. Or just a good enemy. You can kick the snot out of each other in PvP if you wanted to. The choice is up to you. All right, let's get back to this. But I do thank you guys for being patient through that break. So you're very much appreciated. Now, at first glimpse, this seems a lot ways intimidating. We've got avalanche here. We've got hunter missiles here, and all over the place. And they're even being safeguarded by sandstorms. Elites, in the looks of it, not omegas. But there is a friend, like I said, all game long. There is a friend who most of us have taken for granted and bypassed all these years, who will come in very handy for this base. Say hello to my new little friend. Used to be the Valkyries. Look at that. Here it says you can't deploy. Here it says drop zone. Wherever it says drop zone, it counts. Use it. You'll be thankful. We're going to place these guys right here and oh yeah. It's important to know that I'm taking out these power plants because I want these turrets to go into low power mode. That way they don't serve as an offensive threat. If you ever want to set up their cadence, have them step back, attack again. And that should take care of anything trying to come in at an abrupt pace. Now, let's see. Back, then you want to stay away from that sandstorm. This is a kill all building space, so again, focus your fire on the necessities and get the heck out of Dodge. Yeah, they just said, sir, yes, sir, I agree. Get the heck out of Dodge. Your first target when these guys pop through is going to be the avalanche because it'll tear these guys apart. As soon as it starts firing, you take it on. Let them calm down, step back. I'm sure we took a couple of losses. I had 12 of them down to 10. Step back. Missile bastion. If you need to. That radio tower is good too, but pace yourself. As soon as you get all that nice and popped, give these guys an opening. They can go on head down. We got missiles looking fire now. Remember those peacekeepers? All through, go on down this way. 45 seconds, no, 38 seconds. Misread that. Before we can drop the next volley. Two minutes to play. Be sure to reset your cadence. Bring them back in attack moves. Because as soon as these guys pop, you're going to need a constant fire so that you're always aiming at one of the defenders. Otherwise, they're going to keep chipping at you. It's good if you're trying to preserve these guys for your next move. All the while, course, the clock's going to run out, but as you see, we have the ability to fire our missiles as we need it. So you've already accomplished most of the mission here. Now, trying to walk past this guy is impossible. I've tried. I'm not going to show you. Forget it. So at this point, these guys are good to go. A little last, last heave ho right there. Back in the base. Reload both mercenaries and your missiles. That's it. One at a time. Wait for that save icon to stop. Because again, if you go multiple and you try to speed things up that way, you'll be missing a nice chunk and a nice chunk of your resources for the purchase, and not have not one missile or not one mercenary to even account for it. As ridiculous as it sounds, it's true. Try it out if you like. I mean, if you got the resources to spare for it. 8 times out of 10, if you've been playing a constant game, you're going to see it happen. And if it's happened to you, you're not the only ones. You're not going crazy. That's 10. Number 11. And that makes 12. Save icon on. Everybody stays. Good. Mercenaries done. Those peacekeepers that we used should be just 2. Mines are doing good. If your mine's on it, reload your volts, reload your rockets. At least so you don't have to worry about that being your next part of your attack. Real-time thinking, real-time strategy. I mean, this isn't MMORTS. Stands for Massive Multiplayer Online Real-Time Strategy. Welcome to the real-time strategy part of it all. Now, just so you guys have a heads up, those peacekeepers that I've been firing have been doing really good on this side of the base. And they've been serving us well. You got to give it up to them. But once you get to these Tempests, keep an eye on that marker right above the Tempest, because when you see them marked like such, it means that they're workshopped. And when they're workshopped with that kind of a marker or one similar to, always assume that Tempest can fire at your missiles, because without a certain part in the workshop, Tempests do not attack missiles. So for a fact, these guys will shoot down a peacekeeper. These guys will shoot down a Deadeye. They'll shoot down a shock missile, a concussion if you're going to use it. But they will not fire at the untargetables. They live up to their names. It means things may be a little messy. It may be a little more expensive. But you can still throw something at it. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the Tempest in any base, because those traits can be deadly, very deadly. Now, speaking of deadly, we're going to change the strategy up just a little bit. I am going to attempt to take out that hunter missile and as many of these silos that I can. Ooh, that hunter missile's gone. Beautiful. And there's a reason why I wanted that hunter missile gone. With him out of the way, if I can even aim for this one here, which is a really slim chance, then I can bring in, even at this very moment, I can bring in a couple of friends in our Sentinel faction who we know as envoys to do some damage. So while we're waiting for the next shot, let me show you a weakness with those Tempests using envoys. Remember the range factor that we had? Envoys are about 600, maybe more. Tempests, I believe, are at only a 450 range, which means maybe a while before they realize they're getting their butt kicked. And that guy's at a 600, so keep your aura away from that hunter missile, and you should be all right. As a matter of fact, if you're daring enough after taking out that first one, you could even clean up a little bit over here and take that guy out by hitting that drone silo from this angle. That's if you want to be daring about it. I wouldn't do it that way, saying it may be possible. But like I said, play it safe. If you're going to do it, you do it right, so you don't lose too much time. Just knock it out with one of those. There isn't much to it. Can definitely handle it. And it'll take the stress away of even worrying about whether or not you still have envoys if the game decides to glitch out and flash crash on you mid-attack. I wouldn't fly my envoys over because of those crickets. I'm nobody's fool now. So, for the time being, you have a choice. You could volley this all away with your peacekeepers, turret for turret, at least on the heavies. And once you knock those guys out, all four of them that's left remaining, then you can bring your herald in and clean up the rest. Now, from this angle, it would be tempting, very tempting, to bring your envoys this way and aim for this tower because of the range. But that little curve, if you ever heard the term being graded on a curve, worries me that it's still within the range of that hunter missile. So again, safest bet, better not do it. Instead, you send in one of these, or you can send in more mercenaries to take out that whole block. As you can see, by waiting patiently, it works out well this way too. On we go to the radio tower. Fire our way this way. Go for this power plant so that we can maybe get a splash on these Valkyries. Maybe. I did say maybe. All right, for the most part, this base is practically done. My rule is to kill all building space. So again, the only thing that we have to worry about here will be those drone silos, that hunter missile, that flak turret heavy, and that hunter missile. Everybody else is just enjoying the show, just like we all are now. At least I hope so. Can't speak for everybody, but for those who are, again, just being here, you're appreciated. Who knows? Maybe you could be here to point it out to that friend that hasn't found it yet and say, You know, this guy could have actually helped you out at this point. Who knows? All right. Couple more of these and we should be on our way here. Poof goes the drone silos and then hunter missile. Beautiful. I said it looked impossible to me at first. When I saw an opening last night, I almost wanted to cry. It was so easy. And it didn't cost us much resources to do it either. 5 seconds to go. We'll go ahead and end attack. Check inside the base. Make sure we have enough peacekeepers to finish the job. At 10 gold or minimal repairs. Nova's all completed, ready to go for the next task. 2 seconds on that envoy, I guess. 2 seconds on that one. Everybody's ready as far as repairs. Missiles. A couple more peacekeepers. I feel like I should be wearing an apron giving a recipe. Shout out to those who do these cooking channels out there. Much appreciated to y'all too. Old school and preschool. All right, all peacekeepers are set. Mercenaries are still on standby, but will not be of any further use. So we might as well save it for the next round when we do our repeat. Because unfortunately, and here's a spoiler alert, yes, Wave 9 is also an island base like this, but no, they do not allow us to use mercenaries. Figure that one out. Burns me. It literally burns my mind how you can flex a rule one way but bend it another. Burns me. That's all right, because I still found a way around it. That's why we're here. Wow. That really didn't do too much damage. Okay, so it may be that you have to do concentrated fire with these 2 shots. This is a factor that didn't come to before. Either that or Kickside just wants me to stick around a little longer because they love the attention I'm giving. Who knows? Either way, this base is going down. You know what? While we're waiting to have a little extra fun with those guys, that's some insulting, just in case that next shot doesn't work out well. Take you across this way, big guy. Next shot's ready. You see, deny that to the hunter missile. Just what I thought. Because they were so far away. You, sir. Have a little fun. This is, just for the record, completely unnecessary for this guy to come out and do any fighting or firing. But I figure if I gotta wait for a cooldown, might as well have a little fun with it. Just stay at the right distance to be away from that flak turret. Just right. It's totally unnecessary to do this, but something to do while we're waiting for our victory shot. Well, that armor platform is stronger than I thought. No worries. If you don't have that kind of power, or if you don't have that kind of patience, yeah, something to do. Pastime. It's like waiting for a very slow checkmate to happen, or concrete to settle. It's a sure thing, and it takes a while. Four. Practical thinker would keep throwing peacekeepers this way. It's the easiest way through. It's the easiest way through. If you don't have the patience, someone's got to give. This is when you have a little fun with these guys. And once they enter this platform, they're not able to walk out onto that water area anymore. Like I said, you keep them away from those sandstorms, it should be all right. All buildings dropped. Base is ours. That was main target 8. Tedious, but doable. 2 hours, 4 minutes left on the clock. And those points are all added with a 10% bonus boost. Boy, does it come through. All right, base 9. This base, then we've got a restart token base, which is the main target 3. No, faction target 3. I'm thinking ahead of myself. I want to get to main target 3 next, so I can be on the next lap. Once we get to faction target 3, we'll get a restart token. We'll be done. Let's have a look inside it before we go to refill. Now, like I was saying, this too is an island base. There's solid land for mercenaries to fall upon. We've done bases before that have allowed mercenaries to be used on these bases. But Like I said, spoiler alert, mercenaries are not allowed to be used on this base. How do you like that? Somebody really wanted to throw a nice curveball in there, and they threw one in that went against their own rules. But no worries, because like I said, been here before. This is the point where I used my restart, and at that I didn't even do any faction before I did so, because why? I wanted to get the show going. All right, so we do this my way. Now you will find there's complete value in the envoys. If you don't have any, invest in some. This next base will show you why. Those are all good. Right, back to this job again. It's almost like micro healing Valkyries and riflemen back in the days of old. Of course, it's killing clock, it's killing time, but that's pretty much what the developers are sending the message of what they're trying to do. Anytime there's something that's time sensitive and it's yielding free product, your competition is going to be the clock and your own nerves. But nothing's going to stop them from wanting to milk the clock themselves. So that you either lose precious time, feel rushed, maybe want to throw a little coinage in there. He said there's a way around it. If you plan your time right, if you manage your time right, you'll be able to get all the points you need in a short amount of time that you're playing. 5:44 Mountain Standard Time. Thank you all for still with me on the show or viewing the show at a later time. It is going to be saved on the channel. And this is the very first live feed I've ever done. I usually do pre-recordings and throw different things to it, thank yous and subscribes and stuff like that. You know, I mean, if you've seen the channel before, if not, we'll take a look. This is the first time I've ever done it live. And I think it might even be something I'll do on the regular, who knows. We'll see how this turns out. Feedback's always important. So yeah, hit that like, subscribe, comment, whatever you choose, whatever you please. Be yourself. If you're not feeling like saying anything, don't say anything at all. But the most important thing that I want you to gain from here is the knowledge of being able to know that it is possible to get to the restart token, although it may feel like at times you can't. That's full. That's full. All right. Check repairs. Done, done, and done. What gets me is we can't even use escorts on these bases. I mean, they do fly around, they do float, but because they're considered ground units, that's the beauty of them. They may fly, they may float, and ground turrets can't hit them, escorts and Valkyries. But when it comes to a cave base, oh, they will be your biggest loophole, along with the wraiths, and getting around some pretty steep obstacles. Base 9. This one's going to take some patience. It's also good to pack a couple of Mavericks because you've got a nice little slew of bunkers sitting over here. It's like a nest, a viper's nest. There's a lot of heavies sitting or floating around the perimeter. The Valkyries are a distraction. Don't pay them any attention. Yes, there's a couple of boxes here that's being heavily guarded by a whole team of torches and a railgun sitting there on a heavy. An Overwatch sitting on the heavy. Wow. It's not a good idea to go ahead and pop that just yet. Not with all this heavy stuff sitting around here. So you still got to reach one bastion in dead center and another by the command center. So there's a lot of work to be done. For this base, you're in, you're out. You're in, you're out. It's tedious, but it can be done. Like I said, behold the power of your envoys. First things first, You don't want to bring them out in full teams because inside of every one of these bunkers are either a singular or a team of commandos that'll blast your envoys to bits if you allow them to. So you got to take your hit and you got to move. One of the tactics that I use is I use one by one. And for these two buildings, because they sprout crickets, I'm going to use this guy. Take him out. Go to my next platoon. Pull out 1, 2, and 3. And I'm up right here to this rock. That rock is going to be your best friend for this base. Take out some competition. In case things go wrong. Oh, no, you don't. There. 2 volleys that way. Back to this rock again. Avalanche first. Then Tempest. And run. At that point, in attack. Because you got a commando sitting there guarding those buildings. To try to fly in and take those buildings out with that hero is heavier damage than necessary. Multiple shots from those commandos would take those envoys out for more minutes than you necessarily need to be going through this event. Case in point, got a 2.5 minute repair on this platoon. Nothing on that platoon, nothing on that platoon. Say fine. Better to have them at full use and checking on them per strike, even if they do get hit, than for you to have a group of them out to take that one hit and be out for 20, 40 minutes at a time. Because then you're losing time trying to dissect that base just to try to stop and repair. That's the part that takes the longest that nobody likes. When you're able to pick it apart piece by piece like this, out of the way he goes, retreat so those drones go back into their silos, and that building is no longer a factor with those crickets. Now, I can take out one more envoy standard. Again, that's a level 5 hunter missile. Out he goes. You take a hit from here. Let him go home. The next step's crucial. You have to end so that you get rid of that commando, because our target's going to be that heavy flak by way of the workshop that's there. And that's going to be a big hit. But you need a group of them to do this. So if you're a fan of Star Wars out there and you know the Gungans at War for their Phantom Menace, ouch time. This part's going to hurt. But it doesn't have to hurt as bad as it could hurt. Because again, we're going to be grouping multiple envoys in a team so that we have a good blast and a good amount of power behind that blast. Because we've seen before with Peacekeeper just how strong those platforms can be. So for this event, if you're wondering about prizes, yes, that's a good prize to have. It does wonders for your heavy turrets. 4 should suffice. You don't need to go beyond 4 for this. Again, your aiming point, if you want to be safe about it, is the edge of that rock right there. Straight to that workshop. Take the shot. Take another shot. Back away. Benefits of a zombifier if you got it. Run if you can. Somebody's refusing to go. Get out of here. I know I heard it click twice. Your ears can deceive you too. You can count 4, but you have to do it in 5. Pay attention to what's out there. Because you don't always get what you want. So far, we've cracked a nice little hole in this. And again, mercenaries would be very helpful in this sort of case. But our goal, again, is to get to that bastion and that bastion. Now that those drones have settled down, we can come over here and eliminate this one. Don't have to worry about a thing there. Oh, be a good idea in this case to send them in one at a time. So let's start with that bunker. Like I said, that's a very hot zone. Very hot zone. And that commando standing there is going to be a problem. In attack. He'll disappear. Really don't want to wait too much. And you know just how capable your envoys may be. You don't even have to go back to your base on the next one. Just remember which ones you didn't use. You should still be within range of not being destroyed all at once. Now, we're playing keep away between this hunter turret, that hunter turret, to reach that guy right there. The target to get to it should be that bunker right there. But again, you got to chop away. First, we want to get rid of that drone silo, and then we can get to it on that next shot. So be mindful what you use and how you use it. You're going to get fired at. Pull back. Wait. Sometimes you got to watch out for last stand defenders because they may show that they're coming at you at full force. Sometimes there'll be a glitch and they'll be way over here realistically, nowhere near you. And if you click on them right there, you'll end up in the middle of the map getting torn apart. Don't let them fool you, whatever you do. Now, for this next hit, I'm actually going to group these guys together and hit end attack as soon as we get the volley off, because it's going to literally destroy this building at the same time. So it's practically hit and run. Come over here. Hit, move away, and attack. Here comes the crickets. Don't be nobody's fool. If you love to use your own voice in a base like this, don't be nobody's fool. Get away from them while you can. Those crickets are no joke against them. So they had 4.5 minutes on that one alone. That is good timing. No gold used. Money saved. Still having fun. There's still a lot of heavies sitting back there. Keep that in mind. It may seem like you're after making progress. Oh, I can slice into this now. Not always the truth. But as you see, one bastion down. Didn't even have to go after that bunker. Very nice. Now, if we can get to this next one by way of that oil after taking out that drone silo, oh, should be a blissful day. So that's where we can let the missiles fly yet again. So, first things first, if we're going to make it worth it, they missed. We'll take that shot. Out they come. We'll retreat him out. He took his damage. That bastion is gone. Guess what? You're in control now. First, let's get rid of all these things. Yeah, those bunkers have got to go. This is why I say it's good to pack a couple of Mavericks in here. There's a bunker there. Those three are gone. Drone settle there. There's a bunker there. Let's see. How about we go for a 7-10 split? No split. Right through the uprights. Drone silo's gone. Hence the upright joke. And attack. We're out of missiles. And yet, even after popping those bastions, if you saw it correctly, mercenaries were not made available. Even if that were the rule. It should have been made available. It's wrong to leave them out of the battle. But they can be used. Just throw a few peacekeepers at it. Just to be a bit of a clever guy. Trying to watch my mouth here. You know what I was going to say. I'm going to throw a Deadeye in the mix. And the reason why the Deadeye is because it doesn't have a cooldown time as bad as a Peacekeeper does. That Deadeye is going to come in handy later. You'll see why. Yeah, you guys stay by for the next round. Still an hour 45 to go on this 9 base. Still making pretty good time here. Good amount of points if you've been watching. Have been accumulated, gathered, granted to it. You don't want to use a Peacekeeper on this because, again, even though we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those Inferno tanks destroyed, and those producers for their infernal tanks are destroyed, it's still a danger because you could throw a Ruby on and pop those guys, but as soon as they pop and they go after that Inferno, they're roasted. They're roasted ducks. So the best thing to do, if you want to go ahead and pop them, matter of fact, why don't we take a chance? Let's do that. Let's take a chance on this. We got enough peacekeepers. We can do this. We can afford this. I'll show you what I was going to use that Deadeye for. If it works, it should pop without popping one of those. This. Which means that if I highlight here with the space bar, drag over, once that pops, I'll be in control of those guys. Which I can get here, 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 here. Get rid of this guy over this way. Over here. Look at that. Look at that. That is just beautiful. And over here. That is just beautiful. Now you could go ahead and let them go to fire at will, but they'll go straight after those crickets. It's not worth it. Just pull the team back. Look at that. All the heavies are gone. That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I said, timing is everything. And so is that firing cadence. Just spread them out. There. It's practically done by this point. You gotta hit that like button just for this one. Now let's see if any of these guys will pop up. Oh, really? Surprise! Here's one. There's two. So now we know. That was insane. But I like the results. Oh yeah. I like the results. Our repair time should be down to dang near nothing. Like I said, I was only going to defense wave 3, and that's it. I am not doing 4. Don't ask. Not happening. Our next and last base for this event should be this Corpus target 3. So we'll go ahead and fly on over this way. Have a good look at it. Send this guy home. how I'm doing here with our favorite Corpus team ready to go. Just in case we might need them. We'll throw the escorts over there too. Wow, this has been such a stretch so far. So far, so good. No gold's been used for repairs. We're already up to Faction 3 already. We've gone through and done them all as we were going. No losses on the air. Ground troops are ready to go. Replenish on the missiles, and we're ready to go. I'm a peacekeeper there for now. So we're using them before I use that Deadeye again. Mercenaries are good. Missiles are on deck for defensives. Yeah. And, oh, and there's a crash right there. How do you like that? Like I said, it's live, ladies and gentlemen. No worries, no problems. Let's try to go ahead and reload this. So for the sake of our time, we'll go ahead and take our nice little water break. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying the program. We're down here to our last base, which it was probably needed to do a reload anyway. I mean, we've gotten through the entire set from Defense Wave 1, Defense Wave 2, Defense Wave 3. Get all the factions all the way up to this Faction 3. And did all the main track up to Base 9. Didn't lose too much time on repair that needed to be done. And are now one step away from a restart token. I think at this pace, without spending a dime, we're doing pretty fantastic. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. To each their own. You're entitled to your opinions. Have them. Be you who you are. But you gotta admit that's a pretty good pace. Without having to spend a dime and to be able to gain as many points as I have, hey, all except for that 10% bonus, that's just a bonus in itself. I'd say this is a pretty good pace. So hopefully this goes by smoothly. We don't have another crash while this is loading, so we have to do this twice or have to fight with it for hours. And if so, we're live. KXI, get on top of this, please. We gotta get this performance right, because what are we paying for? If not. So while we're having this break and while we're having to deal with these issues, while we're getting ready to take on this final base for this broadcast, take your time. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and like. Show me what we're all made of. Tell me if I'm doing a good job, a bad job, a not so fun job. I'd like to hear from you. Get some feedback. And then maybe, just maybe, it'll actually take some play into the next show. Like I said, I'm hoping to get to the point where we have enough subscribers, enough viewers, enough of anybody who could support the information being passed forward so that more things can come through. You know, different content may come in the future, contests may be coming through, competition, who knows? I might even think of doing some other surprises as we go along. I'll definitely have some guests come along in the next few shows. But today, at least for the introductory, to see how things go, I want to run this course by myself. And like I said, so far so good. Look at that. Already at 1,100,000 points on top of what I already had before. This is awesome. And we're back. Hey, nothing wrong with that. If you're doing missions and you see these guys completed, feel free to go ahead and complete them. That way you don't have to worry about refreshing them or them being tied up. 19 hours, that'll be a new mission, and it'll be a new prize. They come in handy. You don't even have to look for it. And once they're done, oh, man. Prizes that they gave you for that. That's 15,000 medals to find 100 of any unit with skipjack and rogue faction bases. So if you're using a skipjack, and you're killing 100 units, that's 15,000 medals. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember the rule correctly, even if you have, let's say, a single use skipjack, it should work. It should work. But you have to use it over and over again at a certain basis to get it to work. So it's good to have that hero if you want to do that. And if you don't have that hero, just so you know, you can always reject it and it'll reset. So you don't always have to do them. But if you have the ability, they do come in handy. Keep that in mind. All right, final check. Mines are good. Missiles are good. Mercenary camp's good. Everything is healed and repaired. Missile silos are full and ready to go. We're ready for the next and final assault. I've got a low source of resources here and thorium. How about we use this break before we start this next base, just so we have enough in hand without having to go through another defensive wave. And we'll go ahead and grab some resources, some thorium. Expert mode. And we can go ahead and close out the rest of this with the final base here. So what I like to do when I'm going for resources or if I'm going for thorium, there are particular bases that were similar to me from when the changes were made that were actually pretty nice to me when after the changes were in play. So there are some bases here that are familiar to if you played this game for a while. If you understand the rules to how they function, how they work, you should have no problems. Like for instance, this Thorium 3 here would be the equivalent of a Aircraft 50 before the changes, for those who've been playing for a while. And there are actually 3 formats, if I'm not mistaken. One listed as 15, one listed as 20, and one is listed as 25. And one of them don't have an orbital laser, maybe 2. But the same tools that you would use for the Aircraft 50 before are the same tools that I use for these guys now. And I get the same results. In fact, I'll use the platoon because I have 2 platoons of them of technicals. So even if you have your own technicals and you like to use them your way, or if you like to use your medals, which you get from player versus player attacks or from challenge bases, through this gear tab, and you want to head over to this spot that says Spec Ops. The Spec Op here for 20,000 medals called Technical Drift will actually do you some justice in that base as well. And you could even have Ruby do it all by itself, and you'll get a full use out of them. And the good thing about using Spec Ops like that is once they go, the damage is not counted towards you. They're not counted towards being your own platoon. So if they get hurt, they get hurt. But for this demonstration, I'm using my own technicals because I like to save my medals for important stuff. And this is one of the bases that does not have an orbital. That's good. One of the weaknesses in here is the fact that they have 4 power plants that are in overdrive. The 2 down here at the corners, where the drone silos are, is the weakness to this base. So if you could even start from this corner or this corner and take them out one by one in any order you choose, you don't have to worry about those drones popping loose. Gives you a little less to worry about while you're having to deal with the rest of the base. A team of 9 is good. In Technical Drift, you get 6. A team of 9 is good if you haven't powered up enough, but be prepared to move away and shoot. Now, the method you saw that Valkyrie dropped was called move and shoot because I was still in motion and they were able to fire at the same time. Keep in mind that something is going awry with this game where your technicals are supposed to be move and shoot, but they don't always move and shoot. So be mindful of that when you're using tacticals like that. They should have shot. They should have been shooting. Nothing came through. Look, now if you use attack moves like I just did, and give them that option to go in and shoot, then sure, they'll shoot. These are supposed to be move and shoot units, which means it's not supposed to be move or shoot, which it's been acting like. It's supposed to be move and shoot, so you have a multifunction, and it's not happening. So for those who are watching from Kickside, if you can address that, please address that. Just like we need to address the Nova tanks. Oh, swim away, swim away. Once those two are gone. All right. Practically this way. Take that out. See, it should be shooting, and they're not. It should be shooting, and they're not. Those turrets should have all been wiped out in that one pass. Like I said, they should be moving, and they're not. So again, if you think it's just you dealing with that, trust me, you're not the only one. You're not going crazy. Here's your verification. I'm going to speed this up. See, you can do this whole base with just that few, but I'm going to save some time because I want to get on with the next base. And we're going to use a full team of 18, and we're going to get past all this immediately. I have some that are corrosive, some that are not corrosive, but they have massacre training attached to them. The ones that are massacre training are the ones that are spewing fire because they're ground predominant for the buildings. Massacre training also makes it so that you don't spawn last stand defenders. So maybe, just maybe, if you're using technicals of your own and you apply massacre training to them, those buildings where the crickets pop out may not be a factor anymore. Oh, get your butt back over here. What is that? Come on, right in the middle. There you go. Finish it up. Less than a total time of 7 minutes. You can even do it faster if you're an expert and you have enough power within your technicals to do so, but it's 5 million apiece for those. Like I said, the same pace of Aircraft 50. And if you have enough technicals, like they're seeing there, I'm going to bring out my Corpus team over here because I'm going to need them for this resource. You got enough in your squad to be able to put them together like I do for maxing out my storage building. This building right here. Once you max it out, your platoon size raises up to full capacity of 3,000, which means you can put 18 technicals in a platoon. I have them split 9 for 9 so that I can always use a differential versus anything else that could go out there and fight. Look at 22 seconds for the full 18 squad. 22 seconds, which means as soon as I hit repair and hit finish, wouldn't cost any gold. How many of those bases can you do at that rate to get your resource, get you some thorium? It's phenomenal. Get you a team of tacticals. Make sure you put snow tires on them so the cryo cannons and cryo turrets do not slow them down. And they will pay for themselves. I recommend starting with 8 if you can help it. 6 is a good start based off of the technical drift op, but 8 is a good one too. Now I'm going to fly through this one because, again, I don't want to spend too much time trying to get resources. Maybe in another segment, I'll go ahead and do a smaller base. But the resource base that's a 2, not a 3, can be done just for you beginners out there if you have just one bone saw. If you have banshees, you can do that one base. And you'll be able to get enough resources to last you. Now, keep in mind while I'm doing this base, I have resource boosts on in the form of master loot. So the outcome is going to be far greater than that if you were to use no spec op to get it done. In this base, the Nova's king, if you can get it to fire right. Darkstorm provides cover. Nova does the work. Bring that Darkstorm over here. Get your behind over here. That wide turn radius can, like I said, it could be trouble if you don't watch it. Be very mindful of the behavior of your units as you're using them to complete these events. Pay no attention to microwave turrets. They're just nuisances. Their damage is not that great. I mean, they do damage older or smaller units as much closer as you get. But as far as these guys go, with their armor being as heavy as it is, they're not even a factor. Get rid of that avalanche. Come on now. They talked about their behavior being what it was supposed to be. Like I said, you're seeing a whole different page here. No way you should be having that much trouble trying to get your units to cooperate. Yep. And that should do it for that base. Quick resources, quick thorium, survivability through the event. You should be able to refill all your mercenaries, all your missiles, and to refill your missile silos on defense if you were to use these tactics. And if you're doing the resource base 3, you'll get the better option as far as spec ops when you roll in. Your choice to keep them or not. In my case, I don't like that VIP room. It doesn't really do too much for me. Never has. All right, so we got resources down. We got thorium down. We should be good, full and ready to go. We'll bring those guys in for last minute repairs, and then we'll head over to our faction and call this a show. Survivability is possible in this game if you have the right tools. Keep that in mind. Just because an obstacle becomes hard at first sight, sometimes you may need to take a second look, a third look, maybe even a fourth. But when you figure out you got the right tools and the ones you were using all along were the key factors, what an accomplishment it is when you finally get past it all. We have 45 seconds. Beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before this game decides to crash once again, let's get to that final. Let's go get our restart token. Go to overview, down here to faction track Corpus. Should take us right over to it. If we sit still, wait, it'll center. Bam. And of course, my escorts are already there waiting. My hope is that you guys all, if you're not there yet, get to the point of where you can be at this pace using as minimal as you need to get through the event. Like I said, there are substitutes for some of the things that I've used. Like instead of using a Ramiro, if you don't have it, Drakens are good, Sharpshooters are good, Sentries are good. You just have to know what their strengths are and how to use them. And you also have to know what good position, what best position would be for them so that they're not obtrusive to the aura of the Dark Storm. A60 for Faction Track 3. Corpus. Look at here, look at here. Now, call me crazy if you like. I don't mind it. I'll accept it. I don't care. But does this not look familiar? Like we've been through this space before? Somewhere like in main track, I don't know, 5 or 6? Maybe a 4. No, not a 4. 5 or 6. Because you got Overwatch here in the center. You have Railgun here in the center. And those are your heavies for the ground. But you also have a wall here that you can travel along without being disturbed by them because you got nothing but Avalanche and Storm sitting on this side. Well, there's a Hunter there too. And you got, there's an Overwatch over here too, but once you take that guy out, you could practically crawl through this base with their Nova and Darkstorm the same. But there's one thing that I'd always forgotten at the end of this base, and I want you guys to keep this in mind as long as you have to do this base with the Corpus faction, any faction. Be mindful of that railgun turret back here, because if you forget, well, it'll be disastrous. It'll be very disastrous. Just remember, he's going to be in that corner. So I forgot once. I didn't like the results. I don't wish that on anybody whatsoever. So first, let's bring out the Darkstorm, then Nova, and Poly just to be, and we'll let them take on these Sparrows. Slowly but surely, we'll be getting through. Look at that. That was Poly by herself, I think. No, that wasn't Poly. That was a combination. Poly and Nova tank. That was too quick. Oh, no, you don't. Darkstorm over this way. Stop them when they stop firing. Yeah. Well, thank you. This way. And defend. Good. Defend. Oh yeah, knock yourself out. They keep coming on out, you keep shooting. That's what we want. We don't want to use attack moves at this point. We can use the Nova to knock out that guy. We're getting closer. Wait. Defend. Shoot. Shoot. Nova tank. Over here. Shoot. Oh. I didn't ask for this. Again, this is live. It happens. But if it's going to happen, you might as well get good use out of them. If you're going to be out here messing around, you're coming here and here. Well, no, you don't. I said, if you're going to jump out that way, fine. We'll make good use of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called turning lemons into lemonade. And there goes that guy who decided to pop loose. Yeah, you can come over and play if you want to, but you're not going to be around for very long. I guess the big guy said, let's speed this up and we'll go ahead and pop that loose. I was going to have a little fun with it, but okay. Yeah, get rid of the important stuff first. There you go. First you, then you. Look how smooth this one is standing up to all of this. Oh, let's see. What's it hit next? Let's come over here. Never had this benefit with just one. You can go at it. Let him take over. They did not let me cooperate on my targets on that. There I was clicking on that avalanche. There I was clicking on that hunter, and it would not fire at it. That's fine. 2 is good enough to start. But again, you have to expect things like that to happen. Don't let it fret you. I still got 4 more sitting over there that can come to full use on the next go. This minute will pass, that's fine. But it dang sure sped up how this base is going to be defeated. I gotta tell you. I wasn't expecting it, but I love it. Oh, here they come. All right, Polly, you and I got this, dude. They dang near took Polly completely out because a Nova wouldn't fire. Wow. What a way to end this. Cheated. Nova wouldn't fire again. That's fine. That's fine. Polly heals in 30 minutes. As long as it's not fully damaged. Yeah. She can still fight. That's just dirty. Cycling back and forth between tanks and it wouldn't take so they can get their shots off. It's better that it was Polly than it was the Darkstorm. That's for sure. All right. Now, to finish this base off, since we're going to play dirty, we're going to play dirty my way. Like I said, I saved those 4 escorts for a reason. I'm going to use mines to set them free. one at a time. Okay, you. Oh, almost messed up. Go here. Go here. And you go here. And here. No, I don't want you to push over here. I want you over here. Now over here. The sparrows are there to distract your fire so that you're not successful with this. Do not pay attention to the sparrows if you're using escorts like this. You want to destroy anything that can be offensive to your own unit. So if there is a mishap, you can complete it with your own stuff. And that's fine, because all the heavy turrets are gone. Beautifully gone. Matter of fact, y'all can go home. If I come over here this way with this and this, gotta give the Darkstorm time. Even if I've already sped it up, you still gotta give it time to catch up to itself. Fire Nova. Fire Nova. Damn, Nova didn't fire. We've really got to fix that, KXI. I don't know why I use a unit that fires when it wants to. Same with the technicals. Something's going on with the firing capabilities of some of these units, and it needs to be addressed immediately before it becomes an even bigger issue. It's really starting to drag this game. It this way. No, not that way. In fact, let's get rid of the Darkstorm. You can go home. Nova. Right there. Come on, fire Nova. Anytime, sweetheart. Oh, I hope you guys are watching this. Look at this. I've clicked on this button. No fired shot. Look at that. It'll fire at that wall, though. Oh, no, you don't. Get back over here. I said fire at this wall. Thank you. Now go home. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted y'all to do. That is not what I wanted y'all to do. Get out of here. I said over here. And I'd like, please trim that down to where it's minimal to anything to even worry about. Freaking nuisances. All right, let's close this bad boy out. Again, thank you everybody who was able to sit with me at this whole event and watch the entire show as we go along. As you can see, all the way up to 60 with the restart token. Practically done here. Let's go ahead and finish this bad boy off. Your turn. Here. From the air, it would be a better bet. But again, those buildings with those crickets, if you don't have a zombie tech, it can be a nuisance. But just when you think you're okay, you're not so okay. Fire. Thank you. That is so annoying. And look how fast it fires afterwards. Why? Just rude. Just rude. All right. Final building. Come on. Anytime. Fire the shot. Thank you. We can go home now. And that completes faction track 3, Corpus, and should guarantee us our restart token. Yep. And there it is. From Defense 1 all the way up to the restart token Corpus faction. Only hiccup we really had throughout this game, even after a few surprises, was the mishap with our tank at the end. The entire length of this video would be a real-time call if you were to get up to the restart token with the units that I have, of how long it would take to actually accumulate that many points. So maybe you could even throw a mathematical figure of how long it will take for you to get to your goal through watching this video, through watching this live stream, through watching any of the videos I've ever put through. Hopefully it'll help you to meet your goals in its entirety. So from here, it's all just pretty much repairs. It's been a pretty good show thus far. For our first, it's been quite eventful, pardon the pun. 18 minutes on a dark storm. Wow. Okay. Like I said, if you're a person who can allow these to heal overnight, then this would be a good time to just, hey, 25 minutes. This would be a good time to just let them heal overnight. And by the time you wake up and get back into the game or do anything of the sort, then you're good to go. Now, for sake of repair, just one more thing before we go ahead and split off from here. For the sake of repairs, if you want to prioritize your ground units while you're repairing because you're losing some time, the best way to do it is to seek out which one has the least amount of time needed for repair and place them at the front of the line so that you can get them out the way first. If it's something that you need immediately and it got zapped completely out of the ball game where you have no life left, then you need it immediately after, even for a moment. Units who have partial health can still fight at full power. So what you can do is you can throw that one who was destroyed the most up front, like I'm going to do for Polly, and set it up to be the first in line to be repaired. Because as you see me dropping them in these tabs here, first squad has got first priority on repair. After that squad is done, then it goes to the next tab for the second squad. After that repair is done, goes to the third, goes to the fourth, until everybody's been completely repaired. So if you wanted to take a break, even for like a few moments, just to let that go through and heal, it's a solid hour. You could set this platoon, in this case, into repair. Go grab a meal, grab a brew, grab a smoke, whatever you're going to do, get some chores done, some homework with the kids, whatever you choose to do with that hour, it's yours. Take a break. It even give you a chance to go ahead and reload. Just like we obtained our restart token by going this far, you can also reset and restart your game, get a fresh go. So with that, we started off with 4 restarts. I used one before I gained the restart so that I can do that base live with you guys. It turned out when I used that restart, I had 3. Now with the bases done all the way up to 60 Corpus, you can do it for any faction if you're choosing. Back to 4 restarts again. So practically, we're playing with house money by getting to the restart token. And it's the best way to get through the event. Because, I mean, look at this. I've got over 1 million points and doing this twice, and even without completing the last lap. I mean, I left the faction stuff out. All the things you can gain from this event, it's possible if you know just a nice smooth system to get you through it. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. And the things you can gain from it, it's phenomenal. I mean, there's no end. And you don't have to spend too much of your own money to do it. Just enjoy the game. Learn the strategies that you can learn and maybe even come up with your own concepts. And who knows, maybe you two will be having your broadcast sitting here showing people like myself a better way to do things. So for now, I do bid you all a great bit of adieu. A big thank you for tuning into the show. Special shout outs for those who may have been watching. Special shout outs to my kids out in California, Zion, Sarah. Daddy loves you very much. Special shout out to everybody who's subscribed to me over the past 6 years. I know my channel hasn't been much. It's 23 subscribers strong when I started this broadcast. Hopefully there'll be a lot more, but beyond that, there's a lot of those folks who have subscribed. I know they don't play too much, but if they do come back, they know there's a reliable source waiting for them. But this has been Red Revelation live stream, BIGGS98 War Commander event. My name is Biggs. Be out there, be kind, be safe, love one another, help each other if you have a shot. Hopefully, if things go out well while they're at rest, again, War Commander and Unshackled team, your presence is missed. But we understand the break you guys need to take. We're all human. Take it easy. Some of us out here can handle it. And when we all come back together, we'll throw up a real good show. BIGGS98 signing off. Thank you for tuning in to this live broadcast. Be blessed. Be merry. Be happy. Be kind to one another. Have yourselves a great night, great morning, wherever you are in the world. Enough likes, enough subscribes, enough positive feedback. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Till then, 6:52 Mountain Standard Time. Big signing off. Thank you, and good night.